Our guest today is Lisa Capriotti. She is the Vice President of Community Operations at CCMC. She is a proud mom to 3 sons. She is an Arizona local since 1994. She's also a graduate from ASU and GCU, and she is passionate about inspiring people to grow personally and professionally. Her mission is to make daily choices that create a positive change. And you're going to hear her story that is one of triumph, but also caring and, as she says, authenticity. So I can't wait for you to listen.
Exactly.
That's cool. Baller.
Yeah, baller. And then 2 of my sons had college basketball scholarships too. So it's been a big part of our lives.
Yeah, oh yeah. Basketball is our sport.
Yes.
Like, we love sports, but my wife, her family's from Kentucky, so they're freaks. Like free Kentucky fans.
Oh,
like
wow.
literally cry blue tears when they lose. Like
Yeah, as they should.
It's very serious.
If I was a Kentucky fan, I would too.
Yeah. So.
But I love, I don't know if we're off and running for this thing right now.
We can start. Yeah, go ahead.
You want to fire it up? Let's go. Don't forget that thought though.
Yeah, because I was about to go in on it.
Go
Let's
in
talk
on
about
it,
some
Lisa.
basketball.
No, but what I was going to say is from a life perspective, playing college sports or sports, for me, I'm a big proponent for girls to get into sports, or it could be whatever, if you're in drama or something, but anything where you have to do something where you got to practice to become good at something, where you need discipline, teamwork, all of those things, and then especially being a college athlete, those play into your success as an
100%.
adult.
Absolutely.
So whenever I have the opportunity, or when I talk to young women, I'm a big encourager of what athletics does, because it will help get you beyond these things of the quick, results and immediate.
Instant gratification.
Yeah.
I could speak all day.
I know.
On what I've learned and how it applies to my life today.
Yes.
And it's kind of funny, you're talking about anything, right? It doesn't have to be just a sport. Like most people who know me know that basketball was my life growing up. And they would think that my kids have to be basketball players. And I've always told them, I like basketball for them, right?
Yeah.
And they're good at it. But if they wanted to play the drums or, do something different, as long as I just want them to do something that they can get really good at and passionate about and learn those same things from.
Yeah.
So it could be another sport, it could be something entirely different. But
yeah, I love it. I believe in it wholeheartedly because it is. It's just all of the things, and teamwork is really important to me. I'm definitely not a, individual contributor.
Yeah.
Same here.
And that's what you learn, right? As a team player, is the importance the role that you play on a team and how it affects others. I totally agree. I think perseverance, taking a loss, and then still getting back up and doing it again.
Oh yeah.
Like there's so many things. Your attitude is everything. We're dealing with that with our son right now in volleyball. Like he does really, really well in his games, but the way he shows up for practice is like he doesn't care. And I'm like, you have to show up better.
Yeah.
He'll turn it on for a game, but practice, and I'm like, you have to practice like you play.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Don't let him watch Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson, practice?
Yeah,
Have you ever watched that? Oh, he's so famous for it. You'll have to see.
We're talking about practice.
Okay.
Well, that's a good subject right there.
Yeah. Right.
I'm curious, have you ever defined your leadership style?
Well, I know even getting my master's in organization, you have the transformative leader and the servant leader. And I don't know if this is a real leadership style, but I call myself an authentic leader. My leadership style is authentic. And what I've found for that to be successful is, for example, when I worked at Power Ranch, I got written up for a joke I made that was really funny, that they didn't think was funny, my boss. And at that time, it was unfortunate. But throughout my career, I tell people those kinds of things. So I try to just be who I am
I love that.
and show up and be that person, because I think as a leader, it becomes, if they know I make mistakes, or I care about their families or what they're going through, or I accept that, hey, we're all going to make mistakes. Right? It's what you do with it. It's how you move on. I just feel that that's the most type of, you get the most with people.
Yeah.
When you just show up as yourself. And
I love it.
now over time, I've evolved.
Yeah.
you know, but still, it's
Well,
still.
you learn.
Yeah.
Well, I always joke about this. You can say anything you want until it's to the wrong person.
Yeah.
True.
And I used to have a boss in corporate America. He's like, you can do anything you want on your last day.
I worked for City of Mesa Parks and Rec, and at the time, our director, I was in my 20s, you know, and I come in there, and I didn't understand what it meant at the time. It wasn't until I got further along. She was like, Lisa, you just have a way of being able to say whatever comes to your mind and get away with it. And I just thought, yeah, and I just thought, duh.
It's a gift. It's a gift. Well, because not everybody can get away with it.
Yeah.
Because they don't say it the right way.
Yeah.
And you have to know your audience.
You do, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Lisa, I want to get kind of, for our audience that's listening, for you to introduce yourself, but I just want to say that I think you're one of my favorite people. I really admire and respect you as like a strong woman in business.
Thank you.
And I think it's awesome that you said authentic leader, because I really see you that way, and like as genuine, as caring. And I think you've done a great job with Power Ranch. So will you tell us who you are and give us a little bit of your background?
Okay, so Lisa Capriotti. I was raised in South Bend, Indiana, so go Irish.
Nice.
And Indiana's a state, so basketball was a big part of my growing up and sports, and it gave me my outlet. So in full transparency, my mom was an addict and homeless, so her whole adult life, my mom was homeless, and you know, my dad had some of his own issues. So basketball was a thing that kind of rooted and grounded me and was my focus, because I knew that was going to be my avenue to, you know, getting.
At what age did you recognize that?
Probably like 8th grade.
Really? 'Cause
Yeah.
you knew you had some potential there?
Yeah, well, I sucked. You know,
Really?
I wasn't that good, you know, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. You play,
Yeah.
you start early in Indiana, but I just, that in middle school, I just said, you know, this is how I'm going to be successful, or
Well,
this will
probably
be my
gave you
thing.
like a feeling of belonging, right?
Yeah.
Like something that you could focus on
Yeah.
and just feel that sense of like, okay, I belong here.
Absolutely. And it was the confidence, right? And I think that you could be authentic and confident at the same time, but athletics does that too, because you're like, I can do this. You know, when you
put in
hit
the
the
work.
side of the backboard, but then when you're out there killing it, it's just the confidence that's instilled in you. So I think that's probably part of it, is just knowing that.
What's up with your mom now?
She passed right before COVID. So yeah, but it was a journey. It's also one of those things, I'm a believer as well. So just my faith kind of steers my approach to things. And even though I had, you know, some hard feelings about my mom, I really just tried to do what God would want me to do. You know, but I set boundaries. So I think that's important too. Set boundaries and helped where I could, but at the same time didn't let it overrun or consume my life or those kinds of things. And the other part about that was good is that I exposed my sons to it. You know, some people might have, you know, tried to distance themselves, and I just wanted them to see some reality. Like, if you choose this, if you choose addiction, or you choose whatever, this is the kind of life you're going to have. So we'd pick her up from shelters, or you know, these different kinds of things. You know, Thanksgiving, I'd make her a plate, but she wasn't involved in everything. So there was things that I'm still considerate and thoughtful, but had to draw those boundaries.
How do you think that shaped you?
Well, it was, I would say, you know, there's some truth about how you're raised. You could do all the healing, counseling, Jesus, all of those things, but there's still things that are like woven in the fabric of who you are.
Yeah.
Right? And even just being observant of that is the fact that I was very, you know, whatever, if you use the word independent, but really what it was is a survivor, right? Because you're just trying to make it, and you're grinding and that kind of, and then that becomes who you are. And that could be detrimental too, right? If you're just plowing forward and just, you know plenty of people that their worth is in their success, right? And I think that could be rooted from that.
Totally.
However, you have to recognize it for what it is.
Yeah.
So I tried through the ups and downs of life, to be able to say, is this me being a survivor? Is this me? Because what I do know that I do is I can turn people off quick. And that's not always good, you know what I mean? But it's just...
But do you think that's just because you have a stronger personality?
No.
What do you mean turn them off?
Like, I'm done with you. Yeah. So because you're on this, your head's on a swivel all the time,
Because
looking for
you
the
set
threats.
the boundary.
Are
Yeah.
you?
And you draw the line.
Yeah, yeah. And then it's not good. But I've learned. Any
So if
fault.
somebody wrongs you, they're dead to you kind of thing.
No, because that's where Jesus comes in.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But that's where I learned forgiveness and those kinds of things. That's what I'm saying. It's not in the forefront of who I am or how I behave, because I understand grace and forgiveness now. But I still can easily guard my heart, I guess is what
Yeah.
it is. Because it's not like you're dead to me and I don't like
Forever.
you, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to let the bitterness consume me, or I'm not going to let it...
Do you think there's an element of, and I kind of relate a little bit to this, so tell me if I'm wrong, of like, you don't want to be let down. Like, like I'm fine. I don't need you because you've been let down, and you don't want to let someone else have the
Absolutely.
opportunity to let you down.
Absolutely. That's a big thing. And
Yeah.
because I remember articulating it at one point, it was maybe 15 years ago, but thinking that everybody that was supposed to protect me failed miserably.
Yeah.
Right? So then you just lose kind of
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds pretty sad, but it's not how I live.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not how I live now, but that is definitely a true
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah.
You know, because you're looking for people to let you down for a long time.
Right.
I was. Not any longer.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I also have a little bit of like, you can, like, I'll be fine. I don't need
Yeah.
you. Like, yep, that's fine. Yep, no problem.
Yeah.
Or I don't want anyone to know that they've hurt me.
Yeah.
But it still hurts.
It still hurts.
But
Yeah.
it's funny you say, because it's so true.
That's so interesting.
And I think the biggest part is just acknowledging it.
Yes.
Right? You
Yeah.
acknowledge
Recognize it. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Work through it.
Not let it consume you or make
Yes.
you bitter.
Yes.
But then it's also, because it is an interesting thing to think about or talk about, is I show up and I want to give people the benefit of the doubt and like them. And, if it turns out that it's a disappointing relationship in some way, I can quickly move on, but not carry the bitterness forward.
Yeah. That's
Right?
the Jesus side.
Yeah,
Of it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it. But I think that's where I struggle a little bit as a parent, right? You want to give your kids everything and give them this amazing life. But it's a little bit of those struggles that we've all had growing up that created in us that grit, that gave us the ability to like be so like hardworking and persevering and just grind through it because we kind of had to.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you provide that for your opportunity for your kids
But
to
not too
develop
much.
that muscle,
Uh-huh.
right? But yet still like keep them protected.
Well,
That's
so
the challenge.
we're talking about sports and athletics, right? And one of the things I notice with this group of young men that I coach, I mean, there's freshman to senior, right? These three teams, I think they struggle generally with being able to handle getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about grit and persistence. That's where they struggle. And I think if I really just kind of analyze it, their life is easy.
Yeah. And
It's
as
been
much
easier.
as much as you acknowledge it and I acknowledge it, they're much better off. Our kids are much better off than we were.
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
And hey, that's what you want to do, right? As a
Right.
parent, you don't want them to struggle. I always said, I don't want my kids to go through pain because of me.
For sure.
Right? So that was my experience, is like, life is hard enough.
Yes.
Let me do my part.
Yes.
But at the same time, the authenticity, like I was very real with my sons and
Real.
how I handled them.
So
And
2 boys?
three.
3.
And, what I talk to them about and expose them to, because it's like, how do you prepare them, like you're saying, without hurting them or...
Yeah.
I always said, hey, look, if I damage them, I want to have a relationship that me and them can work it out later.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. It's like, I know I'm going to mess up as a parent.
For sure.
And we all do.
Yeah, and we all do. But I at least want to have the relationship where they could say, hey, Mom, you really messed up there. And
Part of it is just being real and apologizing.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. So have you apologized to your kids?
Just the other day.
See? Isn't that great?
I snapped at my daughter pretty hard. She was, and she admits she was being really bratty. And I just, you know, and I had to have a chat afterwards, and she was like, "It's okay, Dad."
Oh, they say that apology is like more powerful than anything, right? The fact that you own it. So, because we are going to make mistakes, right?
But then it's important that she acknowledge, or at least when my boys would fight, you know, these little things you do and you're like, is this really working? But apologize to your brother. You know, and then now tell him you forgive him. You know, those kinds of things.
I'm big on, don't just say sorry, say why you're sorry.
Like,
give the
I like that.
Because just saying sorry doesn't, you know, for what?
Right, that's good.
So
So it's so interesting, Lisa, that your mom was homeless and now you work in essentially with homes and like communities, right? Like that's such an interesting connection.
Yeah, I really, and that's the biggest thing I believe in at least in my profession and what we do is creating community. I think it's so incredibly important because community is important because we're not always 100% all the time. So you need others. It goes to the teamwork. It goes to those kinds of things. Because
takes a village, right?
Yeah. So think about the relationships you built in this community, right? If something were to happen in your family or you needed, you know, the meal train or whatever, somebody to take care of your kids or to step in, it's not your motivation to do it, right? But it's a result of doing it. Yeah, for sure. So I think community is incredibly important. I think I use it in tandem with teamwork.
Yeah. So tell us about your trajectory, like where you started, how you got into this field.
Well, I was at ASU, and you know how you change your major 7 times. I ended up in recreation and met one of my professors who at the time was kind of like a mentor to me. And now she's one of my best friends, Cindy Hunt, and she was a professor at ASU, got me into Parks and Rec. And then she was actually the person that found somebody in CCMC to say, hey, they have this job called a lifestyle director. You know, you should interview. And then started with CCMC in that capacity. But the interesting thing about that time is, and this is where, you know, you could look back on how God's worked in your life, is I found out I was getting a divorce, right? And then I had this part-time gig with the city at the time because I was staying home. I had 3 boys, 4 and under. And I was at home with them. I had this part-time gig in the summer. It ended the 24th, and I started with CCMC on the 26th.
Oh, wow.
And this was at a time like I'm going through divorce. I'm going to be a single mom. How am I going to pay my bills? And then when I started, I was making $15 an hour. You know, that's
Wow.
And that's not paying any bills. So it's one of those things where you just look for how God shows up in your life, and that was definitely a big part for me. So starting at CCMC in a time where I was so vulnerable and hurt and all those kinds of things, and then to have the career that I've had here is, sure, I showed up and did my part, but you know, I got to give God credit in those aspects because He just took care of me through it. And
I love it.
so I started, and it was part-time admin, part-time lifestyle, which those 2 brains don't work, and I don't have an admin brain. And then I was there. I was over at Spectrum, and then I came over here to Power Ranch for a couple years, and I would say that really, this experience here was great. That's why I feel such a fondness for Power Ranch, is because even though I was working, I built great relationships. And it also was kind of the foundation and the grounds for, as I had more leadership in CCMC, what I learned here was the foundation of what I taught all the lifestyle directors across the company.
Which would be what?
How lifestyle is resident driven, right? It's not, I have all these phrases. I have all these phrases, and I would incorporate them in life. One of them is we are not carnies, right? So as a lifestyle director, it's not your job, let's do a fair and bounce houses and check, check, check. It's get out there, meet people, find out what the community likes, find out what they want, and say, how can we work together to do that, right? And that's how Aspire started, and because people would come into the office and they would say, hey, do you guys know a painter? Do you know of this? Do you know of that? And I'm like, there's 4,000 homes here. There's painters here. Like, how can we start? And then you start building things by connecting people, and then you just, when it's all said and done, people are connected. You know, you make these great relationships. People show up for each other. You know, half of the things that we did here, we weren't spending money to get it done. It was residents showing up. And so I think those are incredibly important. That's kind of how, when I was teaching other lifestyle directors and doing conferences and all that stuff here, that's what I said is, we're not carnies. It's resident, because here's the thing. One of the lessons here at Power Ranch was, you have the 2 schools and the town of Gilbert, and there was this daddy-daughter dance, right? And
I went to it.
And the school did one, and then town of Gilbert did one, and we were doing one, and I was like, we can't compete with the surrounding, like we need to collaborate. So why am I doing something that then the school is doing? So anyways, at that same time, I had these teens that were always coming into the office after school, and I would joke with them and tell them I'm like, you bought those shorts with that much fabric? You know, I just, you know, it was fun with them. I'm like, I hope you didn't spend a lot of money for that little fabric. But, and I just built a good relationship, and they said, we want to do a dance. And I said, all right, we'll get your friends together. Let's do a committee, you know, and instead of the daddy-daughter dance, I said, let's do this junior high dance. Well, one lady didn't like that at all and called the office and was angry, and how could you not do the daddy-daughter dance? And I explained my reasoning. And she was like, well, you expect me to drive 10 minutes when I used to just go across the street and do the daddy, you know, that kind of thing. And I said, you know what? So that conversation was a little heated. You know, this was the less mature, less evolved Lisa. I hung up the phone with her. The next day I call her back. I said, look, we didn't end the conversation well. If it is that important to you, get your friends together that she said they all missed it and wanted to do it. Come to the office and we'll do it together. Never heard from her again. You know, and so those are the kind of lessons throughout it that I learned is, why am I spinning my wheels for somebody else that's not invested in it?
100%.
When I have
the difference between givers and takers.
Right? When you have a group of teenagers who put on the best dance ever. There was like 130 junior high kids.
I love it.
That came. So those are foundational things. And I learned it all here.
This episode is sponsored by Matt Dallas with Stroll Seville. Thank you for watching the episode. You know, our podcast is called The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. And I love sharing these real life stories, but we are also in the real estate business. And so if you have any real estate needs, maybe you're thinking about buying or selling or wanting to invest in real estate, we would love to help you. Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's so true that, and we see this all the time in real estate where people talk a big game. I want to do this and that and this and that. And you're like, yeah, go for it. And then do they?
Well,
right?
I was going to say, remember when I first started doing what we do, there were a couple people that were just really adamant about it, like complaining about it. And
complaining about what?
Just the fact that we were doing events and
that they couldn't, like, they wanted to do it, or he doesn't live here, or whatever.
Yeah, why does he get to do all the community events, right? And so we're like, okay, then do it.
Yeah.
And nobody ever did.
Right.
And we just kept doing our thing, and then paid off.
And it matters. And you're always going to have the people that have something to say about it.
Oh yeah.
Right, they're out there.
And that's we talk about that too. You can't make everybody happy. Right. And so I think that's one of the things, though, like I was sharing with you earlier, for me, where I lived in California, like I knew some of my neighbors, but it wasn't as friendly as I feel like it was when I moved here. And it's probably because it was a newer community and everybody wanted to get to know each other. But it really impacted me. It made it so great living here because I wasn't just living in a home in a neighborhood. I felt that sense of community. And as I shared earlier, that first event I went to, where I met my neighbors and I'm still friends with them to this day.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
Right.
And I remember when we had gone back to California and I'm like pushing my daughter in a stroller, like people weren't as friendly. They're just like kept to themselves. I'm not bashing California. I'm just telling you my experience.
Right. Fair enough.
But then coming back here, it was like,
state.
gosh, it just feels so different. And I think a lot of that comes from what we do as a community. And it's not just buying a home in a neighborhood. You're really buying into a community.
Well, and that's what's so fun about the way we go about real estate. And we talk about it all the time. I mean, we are in part helping create that
For
community.
sure, those opportunities.
Right, like this Saturday is the third time we've done it where we send out an invite to the community and they can sign up for Santa to come to their house.
What?
So I drive Santa around on his golf cart.
Oh
And
my
then
goodness.
He gives the kids a little treat. So, we're 50 to 60 kids that we're going to hit up in a couple hours.
I
which is
love
super cool.
that.
Isn't that fun? That'd be so
And,
hard to
and the
do.
parents love it, because
Oh,
they're like,
yeah.
oh man. So it's super cool.
And you get that back tenfold,
Oh, for sure.
right? But it is just like anything. It's easy to talk about what you want or don't have. Going out and doing it is another thing.
Totally.
And it's a lot of dang work.
It really is. It really is. But it is also rewarding.
It is.
Right? And just in any part of your life. But I mean, I think now in the operations role, there's less of that. So my tank isn't as full.
Yeah. You don't
You
get
know,
to see the reward.
Yeah,
as
as
much.
much, so I try and make it around to events,
Yeah.
coming to the
Yeah.
Halloween event
Yeah.
here. But you almost need those kinds of things for, hey, this is why I do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of old faces coming here?
Not as much. I mean,
Yeah.
when we had some of the turmoil recently,
Yeah.
there were a few people that showed up to. Do you remember Maggie?
Yeah.
With the she showed up with the whatever outfit.
Yep.
I love her.
Yep.
And then a couple other people showed up, and so I have seen, but not all of the same faces.
It is crazy. Like, I think about the Aspire group that you started and the relationships that I have with people from that group that I still have to this day.
You started Aspire?
She did.
That's cool.
Well, there was a group of us. Again, it was kind of just the resonance because the other thing is people would come up and they're like, we want to do a workshop. And I knew they were trying to promote their business. I think at the time it was like an accountant and somebody else. And they were there briefly and then they left. But then your group kind of came in and we really got some momentum on it. But I started it and it was threefold. It was I know there's resources in here, supporting local, right? Like, why not, wherever you can support local. And then it's a win-win for everybody. So one of the eye-opening things was we were doing a movie in the park. And when we did, it's like a 50-foot screen and, we were voting on it. I did a poll. I was like, let's have the residents vote. So I sent out
which movie?
Yeah, on what movie
Yeah.
to watch. And one of them was, I don't even remember what the movie was, but they said, well, the school just did that movie last week. So I was like, here we go again. How can we work with the school? Because if they're doing it, they have the little 10-foot blow up screen and the PTA is just struggling to do whatever they can. So I was like, how do we do these partnerships? So I said, I'll get with the PTA. I said, why don't you guys set up selling pizzas before and get it delivered and these different things that they can make money. It's on a better screen. And then it turned into the kids we did before one of the movies, kid businesses. So they set up booths.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they set
love
up
that.
booths around the movie.
Lemonade stand or
yeah,
whatever.
some jewelry.
Yeah.
Like one of them was a dog sitter. So the kids came out and showed. And so all these different ways where don't compete, collaborate.
Yeah.
And then, the community's more engaged.
Yeah, we're big time connected with the PTOs.
Yeah.
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 For that reason.
Yeah.
Were you ever on a PTO?
Was I ever on a PTO?
I never will be.
I think that might be the one area that I haven't been a part of.
Yeah,
it's
you're
funny.
fine. You're fine.
Yeah, it's funny how they're mostly women. Not that you have to be, but those ladies that I work with, man, they are machines.
Yeah, they're
so
on
good.
it, and they're well intended.
Yeah.
Right, but
Yeah.
maybe not equipped.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
Yeah.
So they need some help. And,
for sure.
And I get it. So combining those resources, they had more manpower because it was just me, and they had the manpower, but we had a budget, and so those types of things.
You're a great connector.
Yeah,
And
thank
I think
you.
you're great at like seeing the vision and the opportunity. And I think you lead from your heart and you just come from this place of really genuinely caring. And I think it shows. Even just the change in Power Ranch and kind of the ebb and flow, having you oversee everything, I think it's been really, really helpful. So it's been awesome. We hear a lot in here, like people are happy again and just you can feel the lightness coming back.
Well, the team there, Margaret and Corey, they're a dynamic duo. They complement each other.
Yeah.
Corey loves spreadsheets. Margaret loves everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a great, and they just have this attitude of, let's overcome this. And here's the thing. Another thing I say is like every night, I just want to go to bed with a clear conscience. Right? Like lay your head at night, say, I showed up, I did the right thing.
You did good.
Yeah, and I was honest, I operated with integrity, good, those types of things. And that's what I tell my team. And I told that to that team quite often over the last year is, you guys show up, we're doing the right thing, we're operating with integrity. You can't let a lot of noise because there's always, there's
always
you experience, you guys do with, just what you were talking about earlier, and you see it, and you're the one that has to answer for your behavior and what you do. Just do the right thing.
And I think that's the thing, like keep your eyes focused on your objective, keep doing the right thing, and ultimately those people will see, you know. I know there's been maybe some haters along the way, and I'm thankful to say I feel like I've won a lot of them over just because I've stayed consistent, I've showed up well, I've been kind. And
because they get to see your intent. Then.
Right.
They get to know you.
Right.
Yeah. And here's the thing, even if they don't, so what?
Yeah.
Because they're not everybody's going to come around because some people are just miserable.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything about it.
Probably more now than ever.
So what's next for you, Lisa?
I don't know. It's kind of it's an interesting place to be because my boys are all grown now. My youngest is 20. And my career, I've done a lot within CCMC. Obviously, that's going to be what it is, however my path is in that. But it's more, I was just talking to somebody yesterday about it is odd when your kids are young and you're broke and you're grinding. And when I was married, it's like, no wonder, you don't even know what's going on. You don't have money. You're trying to raise 4 kids and he had a kid when we got married, and it's so stressful because you're just along the way, and then depending, whatever, I was just plow through, get it done, goals. I mean, I would say, all right, every year we have to sit down and do our goals for the next year. He's like, oh my gosh, here we go with the goals. But
I did the same thing.
But you're just grinding, and now you get to this point and you have a lot more experience behind you, a lot more healing and those types of things. And I feel like I'm in a much better place. So doing different things around my house and, I've been in it for a long time, and then enjoying watching my kids be adults, which is I like to see that they listen to certain things. And, but it's heartbreaking too, because what's in store for them.
Right.
And you can't come in and save them from it. You just gotta let them figure it out and hope that some of those core values are in them. And
so what would you say are some of your core values?
well, definitely authenticity. I think that's important. Accountability. And I would tell my sons, like, own your ish. Own your ish. And when something happens and you do something wrong, own it and then keep it moving, right? You can't dwell in it. You can't harp on it. Own it. So I think accountability is important because none of us are perfect. We all mess up. And then obviously humility. I think humility is important from the aspect of kind of along the same thinking, right? Is none of us are better than the others. And, those kinds of things. And then my faith. So.
Yeah, love it. What do you think it takes to what makes a great community?
Well, people willing to show up. That's, I think, where it really starts up, is people willing to show up in a truest sense of, without ulterior motives and all of that. Sometimes, obviously that's what I would think about even with businesses is there's plenty. How many realtors are there?
Yeah.
Right? And how we talked about, it's not easy to show up because you're prioritizing and things like that. Are you trying to obviously promote your business? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you have to do.
Totally.
But people that are true about it last.
Yes.
Right? That's why you all have lasted all this time, because you're true and you're authentic and you really believe in what you do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So people have to, and coaching, right? Coaching is one of those things. You're not doing it for the money. You enjoy it, but you're also giving back. It's like the things that you learned, you want to pass on.
Yeah.
So I think it has to start with that. And you just find the people that do want to show up and you just do something amazing together.
I love it.
Yeah, what I find is even the small business owners that want to get involved, they'll do it until they realize, hey, I'm not getting an ROI on this expensive time or money, and then they bounce to go do something else.
Right.
And that's okay. At some point you have to make those decisions, but that's again why I love what we do, because it's very long term, and we truly are planting seeds and just nourishing those seeds.
Yeah, I mean, are you there? You think you host a community event, someone's going to come up and say, hey, I want to sell my house? No. You're building a relationship with them so that when they do need to, they think of you.
And maybe the 10th time you do it, they do.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think, you have to come at it. Yeah, your intention shows that. We were talking about this, Ian and I, before, of like, if you're just after the paycheck, people feel that.
Yeah.
But if you're truly there to serve them because you want them to have a great event, then they feel that too.
But the word is they're lasting though, right? You endure, you overcome, you show up, because it isn't easy.
Yeah.
Serving isn't easy,
Right.
Giving of your time and energy.
Yeah.
The givers versus take. Who said that?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
said that.
yeah.
Yeah, givers versus takers.
And I think when it comes to like the different people that we've had in lifestyle here in Power Ranch, you can tell where their heart is at, right? And it shows up. And then the ones that are truly there to serve and like what's best for the community, those are the ones that do really well.
Remember we were talking about the gentleman, it was a business we've been talking recently, and came to one of your parties, and at the end they stay and help, and they put away things and they clean up.
Yes.
Those are indicators of people that are
Totally.
truly genuine in
Totally.
their service.
Yeah.
But if they just show up, hey, who's around? Is there somebody to
Right.
talk to? And are out the door before
Right.
it's over.
Right.
And that's how you build community. You align
100%.
yourself with people that you.
Yeah.
It's easy to tell who's
It is.
genuine and
It
who's
is.
not. And,
Yeah.
and I think that's just the
Yeah.
root of it.
Totally. And every time we've had new people or you have new people at your communities, it just takes time and they'll see, right? Like that we're genuine, and that's all you can do.
Yep. And I have a group within the portfolio that I have of lifestyle directors, and I came into my new group in February of 2025, and I had to get acquainted with all my managers and the communities and the board members. And I see how, from the operations side, normally I would just jump right into lifestyle, but obviously I got to make sure everything's running. But I just had, I started after I don't know, that was maybe August or so. I was like, all right, now I'm just going to focus on my lifestyle directors and have some meetings with them. So we had a meeting in October-ish, and I said, okay, we're going to meet in December, and the goal of it is I want us to talk about what are the new connections and relationships we made. This could be a one, one-time thing or whatever. What is the new? One of them said, hey, I met a lady that came to the community. Ended up, she owned a little local restaurant. And then she ended up providing the pancake breakfast for Breakfast with Santa. And that was just from the engaging.
Yes.
So it's those kinds of things. You got to meet people, talk to them. If they come in the doors, you're going to introduce yourself. And then that's how you cultivate a unique community program within these communities. Are there certain things you're going to do? Santa things, Easter things, all of that. But it's the smaller events. It's the byproduct of the connections you make through people, how they want to serve together.
I love that. Lisa, tell us, you're on the board of directors for New Leaf. Tell us about that.
This is an amazing organization. We started working with them when I was in charge of the philanthropy arm of CCMC, and we were looking for a charitable organization around, and then they have domestic violence and homelessness. So for both, I grew up in a home with domestic violence. My mom was homeless. So those experiences are important to me. And we used to do, just like we did things here at Power Ranch, trunk or treats. We would go to the shelters because they have transitional housing and affordable housing. So we'd go and do big carnivals for those places. And then as my boys moved on, I was like, I have a little bit of free time. How can I serve? So I got on the board there, and the things that they do, the people we work with, it's probably not something I could do every day because I get emotional. We do, we have the East Valley Men's Shelter, which is right there on the Beeline and the 202, and they have 130 beds. It's for for men. They serve 3 meals a day there, all off volunteer. They have no food budget. So it's churches, people giving back. So we have that shelter. We have some domestic violence shelters that we would bring volunteers for. So they do a lot, and it's very meaningful to me. So it's just something that I'm super.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm super
really cool.
involved in and believe in. And you know what? Right now, it's difficult times because of what's going on in this administration. Is, we had some government contracts. We had a portion of what we did is refugee resettlement for kids. Shut down, funding and things being taken away.
And then the government shut down entirely for a while, right?
Yeah. So even the funding on that, they're extremely just responsive and not thoughtful. So it's like, this money's going away. Oh, we're just kidding. You're going to get it, but it's going to look different. So anybody in nonprofits right now in that sector has to be adaptable, has to be agile and trying to figure out. And so I think there's going to be a lot of, unfortunately, probably a lot of smaller nonprofits that may not survive, temporarily. Right. So, giving back and serving is incredibly important to me.
That's really cool. I love it. If someone wanted to support, what would they do?
Well, we have a 800 number. There's plenty of ways. You can volunteer and serve meals. You can, you can sign up for the shelters and stuff and serving. But also if you need services, right? There's plenty of, from domestic violence, there's only 320 some beds in the whole valley.
Wow.
So if you think about the scale of where we live and that few of beds, so there's only 8 organizations that really do it. Some deal with domestic violence in a capacity that's not shelter, and they provide resources and help, but we have 3 of the shelter services. And this isn't a socioeconomic thing, right? Domestic violence is
all
up and down.
Yeah.
So, we have those resources, and that would kind of be my plug is, we have an 800 number, and, if people need that immediate help and relief, we have a lot of success stories.
So reach out to a New Leaf.
A New Leaf, yes.
Lisa, what didn't we ask you that we should have asked you?
I don't know. I mean, I think we got a good vibe. We're just having a nice, authentic conversation. I don't know.
I love it. I got to learn things about you that I didn't know. And I just think you're amazing. So We like to end with a little rapid fire speed round. Are you up for it?
Okay.
Okay. What's your favorite drink?
Dutch Bros coffee.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
You
is
and
your
everybody
order?
else.
Yeah. Right?
What's your order?
Dark chocolate cold brew.
Oh. Okay. What's your favorite food?
Mexican.
Oh, love it. Do you have a favorite book?
No, but I like the whodunits. Action, whodunit. Keep me on my toes.
Okay. What about a favorite podcast?
Favorite, what I've been, listening to is Diary of a CEO.
Oh,
That
I
is so
love.
good.
Yeah,
That's one
he
of my
has
favorites.
the experts on there. And he gets into it with them.
Yes.
I like it.
I do
One
too.
of my favorite interviews that he ever did was Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, I haven't seen that
It's
one.
so
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually really good.
Okay.
Surprisingly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, favorite, do you have a favorite vacation?
It used to be San Diego with my boys in the summer, but now it turned yucky down there. And do you know those birds are gangsters?
Are they?
Like, you cannot go to the beach anymore in San Diego. We were cooking on the grill.
Yeah.
And they were trying to distract us. Like, they were flying over. So we had
So
all
they
the
could steal
stuff.
your food?
Yeah. So we had all the stuff on the picnic table. No kidding. I walk over to the picnic table. The bird swoops in, takes the sausage off of the hot grill.
No
They're gangsters.
way.
Yep. Yeah.
is
I'm like,
gangster.
didn't his beak burn or something?
Right? That's hilarious.
Yeah. So anyways, it used to be that. Now I don't want to mess with the gangster pigeons or whatever they are.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. What's your favorite smell?
Oh my gosh. Cilantro.
Oh, really?
I have a very strong, I just love
Cilantro's good, yeah.
Okay, favorite sound?
the waves.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. Okay, last one. What do you
Okay.
want to be known for?
For showing up for people. Yeah.
It's a good one.
It's a good theme.
Yeah.
This conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks
Yeah,
for sharing
thank
and
you.
for being with us. I really enjoyed it. You're awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Real Deal podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, and you can follow us on social media at the Home Selling Team AZ.